Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. My name is Mary Dudek and my pronouns are she and hers. Whether this is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering this community, we're grateful to share this time together. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth and love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention, and to dedicate ourselves more fully to living our shared values. Welcome to those joining us online. We hope you have your chalices ready. People of all ages are a welcome and important part of our faith community. We are blessed to have the children in the sanctuary for the first half of every service, and the entire service is for all ages about once a month. The nest in the front is our designated area for families with young children, where we have quiet fidget toys and activities and a kid-friendly order of service. We encourage our parents and caregivers in the nest to help support our youngest members of the community to participate in the service in a respectful and engaged way. Nursery care is available every Sunday in room 11 in the lower level, which you can access via the stairs at the back of the sanctuary. As part of our being a welcoming and inclusive community, we have some information posted on the screen that will help orient you to UCE and our service. We have a few announcements this morning. There's a lot going on in our congregation. UCE's fall session of Friendship Meals will be held October 25th through November 2nd, and attendance sign-ups have begun. Friendship Meals are small group, in-home potlucks, or restaurant gatherings open to any and all friends and members of UCE. You can read about the meals and access the Google Sheet for signups through the article in our newsletter, or visit Mary Bell, Lena Hilko, or Patrick Thornton at the back of the sanctuary today after worship. Serendipity fundraiser needs your donations. Do you have a special item, experience, or service you could contribute to the auction? Every donation helps strengthen our beloved community and supports the vital work of UCE. Visit Mike Takata during Kinship Hour this Sunday. He'll be happy to answer questions and help you with your donation process. Drop in for a sign-making event with the Catalyst for Democracy group between 4:30 and 5:45 p.m. this coming Thursday in room 3. There will be sign-making materials available. At 5:45 p.m., we will then walk together to the corner of Dempster and Ridge for our regular 6 p.m. Thursday night Beacons of Light gathering. Join fellow UUs on October 18th at the No Kings Rally in Evanston at Fountain Square at 10:30 a.m. and in Chicago at Butler Field in Grant Park at 12 noon. Now is the time to show up, to decry the authoritarian power grab, and send a clear message in support of our democracy. Yes, amen to that. Our pluralist faith tradition calls us in many ways to pray through our participation, To find out where to meet up with fellow UUs, sign up for our local response network. There is a sign-up sheet along with Side with Love t-shirts like this for sale at the Catalyst for Democracy program table at the back of the cafe after today's service. Indigenous Peoples Day powwow will take place tomorrow, October 13th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Evanston Township High School Field House. UCE is a sponsor of this event put on by the Gitchigamin Indigenous Nations Museum. Stay after the service today for our Solarbration from 12 to 1 p.m. There will be a congregational photo on the South Lawn before our green ribbon cutting at 12:30 p.m. And now, let us settle in together, gather our attention, and share this time of reflection, celebration, and inspiration. As we begin our worship service, let's quiet our electronics and our bodies as we join in beloved community. We acknowledge the land every Sunday, and today we recognize the significance to offering this land acknowledgement before Indigenous Peoples Day. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829, shortly before the Potawatomi in this area were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi River. This land was then sold to white settlers. We remember the ancestors of contemporary African Americans, the individuals, families, and networks of Black people who built up our country's culture and economy, a role forced on them originally by enslavement. We acknowledge the impacts of the intentional violence of the Middle Passage and enslavement, which echo through the generations and remain a reality today. We offer these acknowledgements as one small effort toward building long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to incorporate these admissions into our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. Please join in our words of shared commitment. We name these realities with honor for our ancestors, respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we use as sacred space. Sophia Newman brought the flowers to recognize the changing of the seasons and the chance for new beginnings at any time of year. As she lights our chalice, symbol of our living tradition, please join in saying the words on the screen by Gregory Pelley. As we light this chalice, may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love, so that we may pour ourselves into the world. Please rise in body or spirit and join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Before we sing our opening hymn, I invite those joining us online to greet each other in the chat, and those gathered in the sanctuary to turn to one another briefly to say good morning, trying to greet someone who is new to you.
Good morning. Please be seated. We're going to have our opening hymn as part of our new member covenanting ceremony. You are invited to stay after the service to You are invited. One more time. You are invited You are invited to stay after the service to continue our conversations together and to get to know each other. During kinship time and then rolling into our celebration, we're about to introduce you to our newest members, and so I hope you take a moment to say hello to them. As we sing, "Come, come, whoever you are," and you can stay in your seats, I invite our newest members to come forward using the ramp and to line up towards the choir. And let's proceed. Following, everyone. Our newest members, a few more just walked in, so welcome. I'm so pleased that you are joining us. So we have 9 new members that we're welcoming today, and we have 5 other members who have signed the membership book already and are going to be with us at our March service. So this morning, I'm going to give you a brief introduction for our new members who are here today, and then we'll be sending out new member spotlights with the bios that they sent in, so you can get to know them a little bit better. Judith Rowell and Maggie Wilson and Juliana are all helping us welcome our new members. So you're going to be handed a gift bag and a rose. So, Maggie, are you ready? All right, so we are going to welcome Terry Miles, and if you'll just raise your hand so everybody knows who you are. Terry spent 30 years as a jumbo jet jumbled up, that's what I am. A jumbo jet freighter, co-pilot, and captain on what are called long-haul operations. So think Kazakhstan to Hong Kong. This gave him an understanding of the commonality of human strengths and frailties. Love your neighbors, share with the needy, and stand up to injustice. Let's welcome Terry. Welcome. Okay, I love that you applause a lot, but we're gonna have to applause a little shorter, okay? Okay, welcome to Jordan Sadler. Jordan lives on the north side of Chicago with her husband Rob and her mother Sharon. Jordan was a member of Second Unitarian here in Chicago when her children were young. They are now grown, and she is happy to have found a new church home at UCE. Welcome, Jordan, welcome. And welcome to Sharon Sadler. Sharon moved to Chicago this year to be closer to her daughter Jordan's family. She has been a UU for many years, attending the church in Carmel, California, where she was the president of the board, in addition to serving on the membership and pastoral service committees. Welcome, Sharon. Welcome to Veronica War. There you go. Veronica is a photographer who loves cooking, hosting, and bringing people together. She discovered Unitarian Universalism thanks to a question she asked ChatGPT. And now she's a regular with us. She lives here with her partner Michael and their 3 cats. Welcome, Veronica. Welcome to Elizabeth Horn. Elizabeth, or Liz, recently relocated to Evanston with her daughter Ainsley, son Nolan, and cat Hugo. She moved from Orlando, Florida, where she was a member of the First Unitarian Church of Orlando for 10 years. Liz is an associate professor of theater at Northwestern University. Welcome, Elizabeth. Welcome to Ellen Edelman. Ellen is grateful to have been introduced to UCE by Lynn Kendall. Originally a Southsider, Ellen now lives closer to UCE with her golden doodle, Mabel, who she is looking forward to introducing to our dog-friendly community. Welcome, Ellen. Welcome to Catherine Sardania. Oh, there you are. Catherine is a dual language elementary teacher in Elk Grove Village and has 2 children, ages 15 and 11, who are with her often on Sunday mornings. She was born in Chicago and brought up Catholic, but her late husband's death in 2023 motivated her to be her true self, something UU services have sparked in her since college. Welcome, Catherine. And welcome to Amy Yang and Raul Krishna. After becoming parents to Ryu, who is almost 3, Amy and Raul started looking for a spiritual community for their family. Amy moved from New York to Chicago in 2009 to train in medicine. After coming to Chicago, she became interested in spiritual practices, including meditation and yoga. Raul moved to the Chicagoland area about 15 years ago. He is someone who is always asking questions and appreciates that UCE encourages curiosity, compassion, and thoughtful conversations. Welcome, Amy, Raul, and Ryu.
Friends, you have come from various paths to be a part of our community. You join us as meaning makers and truth seekers. Your presence among us makes us stronger, more vibrant, and more beautiful. This is not the beginning of your journey, but it's an important next step, and we want to honor and recognize that. We hope that your sense of belonging and spiritual meaning making continues to deepen among us. Along with the freedom of Unitarian Universalism and the rewards of membership, there are responsibilities. Most importantly, each of us is responsible for bringing the gift of ourselves to this community, to the best of our abilities, and we share together our time, our talents, and our treasures. And then we receive the gifts that this community offers back to you with open hearts and minds. We ask you to join us in the search for truth and meaning in friendship and through mutual challenge and support. Because our covenant is renewed and remade by your joining today, we collectively say the words of our new member covenant, which is drawn from our covenant of engagement. If you don't know what that is, check the big poster on the side of the wall when you leave the building, every time you leave the building. It's very long, but we draw a little bit from it for this new member covenanting. So I invite our UC members who are joining us in person and online to follow along. And when you see the words next to congregation, please read along. And when you see all, I invite everyone to read along. Please join me. In service of our mission to nurture the human spirit for a world made whole, the members of the Unitarian Church of Evanston create a community of joy and hope, cultivating this ground and sowing the seeds of a better world.
Through fuller and deeper relationships with ourselves and each other, together we strive to clarify, strengthen, and live our values, celebrate and honor life and its mysteries through words, music, art, laughter, and tears. Learn and grow spiritually and religiously by nurturing and challenging ourselves and each other. Make the world a better place with the inspiration and support we find in each other and in our Unitarian Universalist values, and embody a liberal religious tradition and carry it into the future for ourselves and our children.
New members. Toward these
ends, we covenant to speak and listen with open hearts and minds, be kind and gracious, understanding our limits and those of others, share and encourage others to share abilities and responsibilities for the operation of the church and its work in the larger community, practice curiosity and willingness to learn, practice resilience and perseverance wherever we engage.
Together, we are the Unitarian Church of Evanston. We promise to always keep our hearts open to one another and to all those who are, even now, on their way. Congratulations to our newest members. Oh, you're very sweet. We are enriched by your presence. You are invited to greet our new members again during kinship time and our celebration. And as we sing "From You I Receive," follow me, our newest members, to return to your seats. I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Though I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
What a joy, leading us into our joys and sorrows. This is the time that we share among us the things that are tender on our hearts, our joys and our sorrows, our triumphs and our challenges. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like read aloud, you could write it in this book, which is found on the table just as you enter the sanctuary. You can email me or Reverend Susan, or you can fill out the form, which is found on the homepage of our website. We listen to these offerings with tenderness and respect, and so we quiet our bodies and our voices during this sacred time by breathing in and out together. Let's do that once. And out. Thank you. These are the joys and sorrows that have been shared today. And these two were inadvertently missed last week. My apologies. From Sally and Joe Eggers. It was with great joy and deep gratitude that they celebrated their 38th wedding anniversary last week. Keeping in mind that tomorrow is not promised and that in all ways, love heals all, always. And from Harry Hirsch, October 5th was the 61st birthday of his daughter, Susan Hirsch, who lives in Corvallis, Oregon, and his sorrow October 6th would have been the 113th birthday of his mother, Sylvia Hirsch, and the 88th birthday of his beloved Judy Wyden. Kristen Larson shares that Craig and she are delighted that they are in Mexico City celebrating 30 years of wedded bliss and hiss. Not sure what that means, but sounds fun. The choir is extremely grateful to Rob Geiger and for fabricating the new handholds on the chairs going down. Yeah. The center aisle of the choir loft, and to Michael Skilton for welding the steel supports of our beautiful new center aisle railing and working with Rob to install it. Thanks to Tom Hempfling, who advocated for these safety measures, and Jane Kennemore, who highlighted the need for the new railing, and that the music team enthusiastically supported their implementation. Thanks for all for looking out for the safety of the choristers. And Rob echoed the thanks to Michael Skilton for his real professional work on this. From Carol Mergel, she writes, my friend Debbie passed away on October 2nd. We've known each other since kindergarten. She was 56, and she died of advanced Alzheimer's, triggered by a dramatic brain injury she had at work 4 years ago. And due to prior commitments and very short notice, she was unable to attend her friend's funeral. She's heartbroken by this loss. Holding you in love and care, Carol. Lena Hilko shares hopes for safety and health and much joy as runners are crossing the Chicago Marathon finish line and celebrating courage, determination, and life. And finally, a sorrow that was shared anonymously. After 2 years of trying and quiet surrender, I unexpectedly got pregnant, but then lost the pregnancy last weekend. Mother Nature does what she wants. So I just invite whoever was able to share such a tender sorrow to just know that I am here. All of us are here. We have a pastoral care team that is quite skilled at accompanying you in your grief. Me, Reverend Susan, Reverend Elizabeth, our affiliated community minister, are all available to help you hold these challenges of heart and life. We normally at this time invite you forward to light a candle or drop a stone in the well of tears, but we've got a full service this Sunday. So you are invited to do so at any time in this service. You are more than welcome. Doesn't matter what's happening up here. If you feel moved, come to the front or to one of the side tables and light a candle and drop a stone in the well of tears. For now, we share these words of affirmation to one another. For these joys, we give our thanks, and for these sorrows, we give our love. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation, this by Thich Nhat Hanh. Let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become holy ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being common to us all and to all living things. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion toward ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other. With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the sufferings that are going on all around us, let us practice the establishment of peace in our hearts and on this earth. Amen. As we sing our response, number 413, Go Now in Peace, by Natalie Sleeth, Our young people preschool through 9th grade are invited to head to their faith formation time with their adult leaders.
As we say in our covenant every Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. Today's offering will be shared with Run On Climate Education Fund, whose mission is to accelerate cutting-edge climate policy at the local level in communities across the country, including right here in Evanston, which is one of Run on Climate's focal cities for 2025. You may text to give, mail in a check, put cash in the collection bowls, or give from our website. If you write a check, please indicate in the memo line if your check is for the shared offering or some other giving. The ushers will now come forward to pass the collection bowls down the rows. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy. Thank you for your generosity. Our reading, What's Fierce Compassion, is from the Center on Self-Compassion. Throughout the world, compassion is generally associated with the yin, or nurturing aspect of compassion. The yin aspect refers to being with another person, especially comforting, connecting, and validating the pain of another. But this is hardly the only expression of compassion. For example, is it any less compassionate for a firefighter to run into a burning building to save a trapped individual? Surely not. Taking action is the yang side of compassion, especially protecting others, providing for those in need, and motivating one another to do what's right, even if it's hard. Sometimes yang compassion needs to be fierce. As Krista Neff points out in her essay on the topic, in the context of self-compassion, the expression fierce compassion includes the qualities of strength, courage, and empowerment to confront social injustice and change it. Fierce compassion also contains an element of anger. A good metaphor for fierce compassion is the behavior of a mama bear when her cub is threatened. The anger aspect can be confusing to people who typically associate compassion with warmth and nurturing. However, learning to harness anger is an important part of fierce compassion. When we suppress our anger, we are likely to lose our capacity to speak truth to power or to take positive action. Conversely, letting our anger run amok can cause irreparable harm to oneself and others. It is easy to make excuses for harmful behavior in the name of fierce compassion. For example, we may think that cursing at someone who has insulted a loved one is protective and therefore fierce compassion. That's not compassion, however. It's revenge. Or in social justice work, we might think that destroying an innocent person's property is a valid form of protest when we are filled with rage. The pent-up rage might be understandable. Martin Luther King noted, quote, "Riots are the language of the unheard," end quote. But riots are not fierce compassion and inevitably beget more violence.
The choir's first piece, Ubi Caritas, was composed in 1960 by French composer Maurice Duruflé and was based on an 8th century text and Gregorian chant. Our next piece, Meditation on Ubi Caritas, uses the first line of that same text sung to a new melody created this year by UU composer Loretta K. Notareschi. The composer says this about the piece, and I'm paraphrasing slightly. I was happy to learn about our denomination's adoption in 2024 of a set of values centered around love, and that centrality of love to our UU values of transformation, pluralism, generosity, interdependence, equity, and justice reminded me of the 8th century Latin chant, Ubi Caritas. The first line of that chant, Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, translates to, where charity and love are found, God is there. While UUs differ in their beliefs about a personal God, this expression of shared values with love at the center reflects a similar understanding of what is holy and divine, end quotation from her. Now this is me talking. We would like to have you join us in singing this chant. It's one line, only a few notes. John Siegel will sing it once through, and then you're invited to chant each time the chant appears in the piece. You'll have buddies singing it with you. Ellie, Rob, and Lynn will be standing here, and they'll be singing it with you as well. Meditation on Ubi Caritas.
Caritas et amor, Deus ibi est. Ubi 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 caritas et amor, Deus ibi est.
Spirit of life, help us to put love at the center of all we do. Show us the way to charity, kindness, and mercy. Open our hearts to care for all.
Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est.
Love can transform us into the caring people we long to be. Let us turn our love outward to embrace every person. Let love guide our every word and action.
Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est.
Love is the underpinning of justice and equity. Let love guide us as we seek to make the world more fair. Love is at the heart of all good works.
Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est.
We are all one in this world.
Everything is connected to everything else.
Let love show us the way to honor our siblings.
Ubi caritas et amor, Deus
What is the difference between hate and anger? It was a question posed by a young adult after a recent Sunday service. I've been thinking about how to answer that question, knowing from personal experience how easily anger can mutate into hate. Anger bubbles up and boils into rage, not just at the cruelty, violence, and blatant, brutal displays of authoritarianism on display, but hatred for the people who are empowering, applauding, and promoting it. I am working hard to remain constantly vigilant so I'm not overtaken by it, and it is exhausting. Just out of curiosity, how many here grew up with positive role models of expressing anger in a healthy, productive way? Anyone? 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 Yes, awesome. Notice the age of these folks who said, okay. How many, like me, felt shame and fear about their own anger or another person's anger? How many fear losing control of your anger? Anger is something many of us are taught to push down or deny rather than process and channel, while simultaneously having our anger overfed. The result is a lot of people moving around in the world with bottled up rage and no idea where to put it. For some, it gets turned inward. For others, it's enacted in culturally promoted violence. But we can, beloveds, we can learn and practice how to express and manage our anger and turn it into fierce, compassionate actions of resistance. And being in communities like ours helps. There are many things that we should be angry at right now, things to which we should be maladjusted, as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King taught us. There are systems and actions which deserve our hate. People being rounded up, detained, and deported because they have brown skin or speak a language other than English, right here in our neighborhoods. People who are peacefully protesting unjust and inhumane conditions at a detention center, tear-gassed, tackled, and fired upon with pepper balls. Lies mass-produced and propagated with our tax dollars to justify abuse of power. Children taken from their homes in the middle of the night and separated from their parents to the cheers of those who believe the lies. The most vulnerable being targeted and all of us being left less safe. All of these things I hate, and I hate that I can't do anything to stop them. What I hate most is that this rage within me is being stoked and manipulated to feed the narrative and further entrench division. There are valid reasons to be enraged and filled with a feeling of vengeance, and it will not help any of us overcome the evil befalling this moment if we let these feelings dictate our actions. Cultivating true compassion and nonviolent resistance is ever more challenging in this moment and ever more crucial. It is the call of our faith to practice not only resisting the fascism that is threatening our lives, but the hatred that rises within us toward those human beings who are profiting and proliferating it. Some of us traveled to Alabama a few weeks ago to the heart of the civil rights movement, Birmingham, Selma, and Montgomery, and we're gonna tell you more about that trip on October 26th, but I wanted to share with you now that hearing the stories from some of the people who lived them of the power and the courage of nonviolence bolstered my spirit. I was reminded that the cruel and ugly face of hatred and racial violence is nothing new in this country, and yet the empowering practice of nonviolent civil disobedience and loving our enemies has also been steadfastly present. The fierce compassion practiced by people of color who stayed in the struggle for justice in the face of such violent hatred is truly inspiring. How can I, hearing those stories, not to be compelled to walk that path, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much I falter, no matter how inadequate I feel in living up to that legacy? Many who have practiced nonviolent resistance found the strength to do so through their faith. And as Unitarian Universalists, we too can proudly proclaim and boldly proclaim that we are people who have faith in the goodness and redeemability of humanity, which is another way of saying we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. If we truly hold that value and aspire to live it, we are called to practice compassion, compassionate, nonviolent, but fierce resistance to the state-sponsored terrorism we are bearing witness to. I attended 2 protests this weekend at the ICE detention facility in Broadview. Each action was organized by faith leaders and communities. Each included sharing communion, what those who were offering it refer to as the body of Christ, and an attempt to bring communion to the detainees, which they knew would not be allowed. Each attempt was denied. But these were peaceful protests, as peaceful as they come. I'm grateful there was no tear gas or pepper bullets, thanks to a temporary injunction. What did happen was prayer and song and ritual and lament. When the priests who approached the fences were denied access, we prayed for the transformation of hearts, for the dismantling of the evil being perpetuated there, for liberation for everyone. I was asked by my niece who came along if I thought that the detainees could hear us, and I don't know. I hope so. But I know that the neighbors could hear us, and the news cameras captured our peaceful march, and we could hear ourselves praying for love to envelop everyone involved, to change this moment. And I know marching and praying and singing and crying, laughing and dancing do not release those detained, but these are the answers to hate I want to keep choosing. Again and again, in the face of all that brings me to feel hate. And to do so, what helps me do that is to stay in community with those who want to make that choice too. I need all of you to help me keep my commitment to resist the lure of hate. There are many ways for us to develop our practice of compassion. I'm trying once again to ground myself in a meditation practice, something that I've tried and failed at many times. But I find that it is an antidote to the rage I feel in my heart. I do not want to burn up or enact my hijacked nervous system in ways that will cause harm or contribute to violence. A few weeks ago, marching downtown when the threat of the National Guard was coming to our city, I felt this momentary satisfaction of shouting expletives at the building bearing the name of our current president. I know, yeah, it felt good in the moment. But as our reading reminds me, that is simply the feeling of vengeance, and it doesn't change anything. I aspire instead to practice more faithfully the metta meditation, where I wish myself, my loved one, the stranger, and my enemy to know peace, to be free from suffering, and to be well. Fierce compassion is defined in the article Mary read from today as the strength, courage, and empowerment to confront social injustice and change it. It is the active yang form of compassion rather than the yin form, which most of us associate with a more familiar, soft, comforting compassion. Fierce compassion is the answer to what Howard Zinn called trying to be neutral on a moving train. We cannot pacify tyranny with denial or acquiescence. We must confront it with fierce compassion. And the article goes on to describe the near and far enemies or barriers of fierce compassion and its three components: mindfulness, common humanity, and kindness. A near enemy is something that resembles one of these components but only sidetracks the true target. And a far enemy is the direct opposite, a little easier to identify but no less challenging to overcome. For example, looking at the first aspect of compassion, mindfulness, the near enemy is complacency, and the far enemy is emotional reactivity. Compassion is to feel with another, and to do so, we must be mindfully present to them. But sometimes mindfulness can lead us to complacency, a willingness to accept that which is unacceptable and to choose inaction rather than confrontation. Even if we don't know how to make change or what the next right action is, we can still practice mindfulness and presence to the real suffering all around us, asking for guidance to the next right move. What is it that I can contribute to this moment? On the other end of the spectrum, the far enemy of mindfulness is emotional reactivity. Look, if you're not angry right now, you're not paying attention. And in the light of that, our work, as challenging as it is to practice not getting hijacked by that anger so that it doesn't control us, but instead fuels us to stay in the struggle. We need to find ways to channel our anger into collective, organized, faithful actions that promote justice, liberation, equity, and peace. And there's a lot of it out there. Fierce compassion can only be present when we recognize our shared humanity, even the humanity of our enemies. The opposite of recognizing our shared humanity is to demonize our opponents, especially easy to do as dehumanizing rhetoric gets thrown at us and our loved ones and those who are most vulnerable. But the near enemy to shared humanity is sameness, this desire to sort of flatten our differences. I often speak about our oneness, and I do believe that at a deep level, each of us is interconnected to the whole. But our common humanity does not negate our individual experiences. We must hold our attention to those. The couple living in a tent on the corner I pass every day is not having the same lived experience as the ICE agent who may round them up at any moment and disappear them. But if I fail to see that the ICE agent is operating in the same dehumanizing system, that his humanity is lost in the degrading of another's, if I see him only as a piece of garbage to be disposed of, I have lost the thread of our common humanity. The third component of fierce compassion is kindness, and the near and far enemies of kindness are pity and hostility. Pity is often mistaken for kindness, but pity does not see another with dignity and worth. It puts me above the one I am pitying. Hostility, on the other hand, is about retribution. It's about hating a person or a group rather than working to end the harm they are perpetuating. Given the many barriers to fierce compassion, we need each other to encourage and empower one another to practice it. This is our life's work. So here's a pop quiz. You ready? It's offered in the article in the Near and Far Enemies of Compassion. When you experience injustice, personal or social, ask yourself the following questions. Am I controlled by my anger? Do I feel morally superior? Do I want my adversary to suffer? If you answered no, you're probably resisting the far enemies of and practicing fierce compassion. Good job. If you answered yes to any of them, you're probably not alone. Here's the other set of questions. Am I willing to take necessary action to be non-complacent? Am I curious about the experience of others? Am I willing to feel the pain of others as my own? If you responded yes, again, good job. You're probably resisting the near enemies of fierce compassion. If you didn't pass the test, you are forgiven. I didn't either. But I appreciate these guideposts towards the goal of fierce compassion because I am convinced this path is our only way through to liberation and wholeness and mutual thriving. And I appreciate more having you as faithful companions on that journey. Whatever our positions of power and privilege, whatever our life circumstances or identities, we are called by our faith in this moment to ground our actions in the demanding spiritual practices of mindfulness, recognizing our common humanity and kindness. In the face of hatred, only love can transform the world. May we together be agents of love. In the face of violence, only peaceful resistance can disarm aggressors. May we collectively be conduits of such disarmament and restorative healing. In the face of injustice, only solidarity can liberate us all. May we be steadfast in our commitment to see the human being in our neighbor, our friends, and our enemies alike. And may our anger, fueled by love, be our sacred, life-affirming, and saving power. Amen and blessed be. May we continue to strive to make peace, beloveds.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, most appropriately, number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. Verses 1 to 3 and 6.
benediction is by Reverend Sandra Fees. May your heart open wide to family and friends. May you radiate friendliness towards strangers and difficult people too. May you see those who suffer with the eyes of compassion. May you offer a sincere wish of kindness to all creatures in existence, even yourself. And may you know the tenderness of turning your attention in the direction of love over and over and over again. Please stay, grab some coffee and cake, and join us for our celebration, which will begin in a few minutes. It is good to be with you all today.